Hey guys, welcome to PC Perspective. Today we're going to do a short video on a very early preview of a feature that NVIDIA kind of threw into their December update for SHIELD. What we're looking at here is actually, we're playing Darksiders. This is the first one. We're playing it on SHIELD. We are not streaming this over our local network from a PC. We are instead streaming this over the interwebs from the NVIDIA GRID service and technology. All right, let's go ahead and see if I can quit out of this. Yep. So here's what we're looking at. This is NVIDIA GRID. This is a very, very early beta. It's there. They kind of said that it was limited to people that were in Northern California. I do not live in Northern California, and it turns out that if you happen to have a SHIELD, that you can get access to this and you can try and play around with it if you want. You can see here that what they've basically done is GRID, if you don't know, is the technology that NVIDIA is creating to enable streaming games from servers, GPUs in servers, having it run the game locally there, stream it over the internet to whatever your device, to your PC, or in this case, to a Tegra 4 powered SHIELD device. Now, they're still trying to work with partners on all that, but apparently they needed to get some gears moving here, so they decided to open up this kind of public beta, if you will, public if you have an NVIDIA SHIELD. And what you get here is you actually get access to 8 different games: Alan Wake, American Nightmare, Darksiders 1 and 2, Red Faction, Armageddon. You have The Witcher 2, Trine 2, and then 2 Street Fighter. You get Street Fighter Cross Tekken and Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. We were just playing Darksiders 1. And you can get these, and you just start it up as if you were playing the game on your system, and it works kind of similarly to how game streaming works from your local PC to here, but obviously it's all being run on the server. Start back at the beginning here now and show you how do you access it. If you have a SHIELD, make sure you have the most recent update, hit the NVIDIA button, and now in your SHIELD games listing, you'll notice that there is a new icon called GRID Beta. So you can click that, it just takes you to these games, but actually what it'll first do is we'll actually run a network test, which I'll go ahead and rerun here. And what it's going to do is it's going to attempt to make sure that you have the right Wi-Fi connectivity, you have a strong internet connection, and that your latency is as low as possible. And I believe that the kind of requirements that NVIDIA put on it at this point is 10 megabits of downstream bandwidth, and I believe they want less than 60 seconds total latency between you and their servers. Now, the Northern California stipulation is because that's where NVIDIA is, this is where the servers are located, at least initially. And you can see here, like our first result shows that we should switch to our 5 gigahertz radio when we clearly are on our 5 gigahertz radio already, because that's the only one we have enabled on this device. But if you hit OK, you can kind of bypass that. Earlier, it showed that we were on the 5 gigahertz network, which I will show you here and double check. We're on our PC per 5.0, which indicates that we're on 5.0 gigahertz or 5.0 gigahertz network. So there we go. And what we can do is now just basically start a game. Now they're having some capacity issues. It's still, like I said, very, very early beta. So we've been having some hiccups here and there, and also we are on a very different side of the country than they are. So when you start it, it's basically starting up an instance of that game in a remote location. We'll see if it actually lets us in here on the first try. Hopefully it will. Yep. So now what we get is you get a button configuration for the SHIELD for those particular games, which is a nice touch. And now you're actually playing Street Fighter 4. Well, I'm playing Street Fighter 4 at least. As you can see here, you may have seen up in the upper right-hand corner kind of an indicator of signal strength. Now, it's not your Wi-Fi signal strength. That's actually a combination of your local Wi-Fi connection, the data throughput of your internet connection, what they call jitter. So if you maybe have drop frames or you have drop packets during that connection. So that indicator is more of an early indication of grid performance, grid experience, as opposed to anything else. So I'll go ahead and start a quick match of Street Fighter. And when it's running well, which it has been most of the afternoon, the image quality is pretty good. I think we're running at a 720p. On this 5-inch screen, it looks fantastic. Even blown up on the TV in front of me, it looks pretty good. I don't really have any complaints for image quality. Now, I have seen some macro blocking and that kind of thing that occurs with any internet video when you start to lose bandwidth and it needs to, adjust its bit rate and all that stuff. It's the same thing occurs, because essentially what you are looking at here is a streamed version of Street Fighter. So, and no, I didn't say I was very good at these games. Oh, maybe I am good. All right, so that's Street Fighter working. It does play. Latency, in terms of like input latency, seems to have been pretty good so far in our playthrough. They don't have any first-person shooters. They don't have any Twitch shooters really involved in this, which I think makes sense based on current limitations of online streaming gaming just in general. The experience so far in games like Darksiders, Street Fighter, The Witcher 2 has been pretty positive, right? So, I mean, these are games that require, I think some would argue that the fighting games are not, they don't require less precision. If anything, they require a lot more. But if you're a casual fighter genre player, then maybe that's something you can deal with. But for Darksiders and for Alan Wake, we definitely didn't have any problems with input latency kind of affecting the gameplay performance. And again, even if you go back and you look at old technologies like OnLive and Gaikai, the type of game you are playing had a great impact on what your experience was. So actually, we just had a network error on that, and again, I think it's likely due to some capacity issues and the fact that we may be having higher latency on the internet connection than NVIDIA would prefer for our initial testing. But there you go, it did go ahead and load up the second time. So it's kind of cool. Now not only do you have access, if you have a Shield, to play your PC games over your local network, that now you kind of have the flexibility, or at least they're testing the flexibility of, will you be able to play other games, any PC game really, maybe even non-PC games, although I don't want to get into the potential issues with that, but on your Shield, on a Tegra powered device, maybe even beyond Shield devices in the not too distant future, and get good quality gaming experiences without having to invest in the hardware specifically or in the games. It could be subscription based, it could be purchase based. There's all kinds of options they could go at through here. So if you have a Shield, if you have one of these devices, maybe you picked up a GTX 780 or something during the holiday bundle, you got those games and you're wondering if you were going to use that coupon code, there's another reason to give it a shot. Or if you already have one, this is another reason to get a new feature and give it a shot and see how it turns out for you. Your mileage is going to vary. NVIDIA is not making any promises. If you go to their website, they have a forum where you can discuss and you can see if other users in your area have had success. And I think you'll find it to be pretty neat. Now, this highly animated, gruesome death kill, all powered by that as well. So that's NVIDIA Shield. Again, if you're wondering why we have all these cables coming out of it, this will work completely wirelessly. There is no hardwired network connection. This is HDMI and an audio connection coming out, just so we'd be able to capture it and show it to you guys a little bit better. But that is our quick little preview of Grid working on NVIDIA Shield. Thanks, guys.